Hi everyone, I'm Shelley and you're watching There's No Place Like Home. I'm back with another question the narrative video, and today's topic is about those repeating names on Wikipedia. Those of us in the truther community know that the narrative given on many Wikipedia pages seems to be fudged in a lot of ways, especially when you look at the fact that they will have floods that seem to pop up in almost every history of old buildings. And if there is not a flood in the history of the old building, there will be some sort of fire where the building was burned and then it was rebuilt, or the buildings were completely gutted and burned, and then a new church or new building was built on top of these. And, we're all very suspicious of that because we do see a lot of repetition in these stories. We see a lot of things just being repeated over and over and over and over and over again. And one of these things that I have also talked about is the repetition of names. And the most recent one that I can remember that I did was I was pointing out the repetition of names when it comes to the history of the Brothers Grimm. So it's probably in that video. And I'll just show you some examples of that. So if we look at, I just randomly went to San Francisco because, and it was the first thing that I typed in because I knew that I would find something. But here we have a Juan here, and then we have another Juan here, and a lot of these articles, we will see lots of Bautistas too. So I've already pointed that out. We've got another Juan right here. Um, I know that there are some Joaquins. There's a Joaquin here, and then down here is a Joaquin. And, this is normal. This is something that you will see in most Wikipedia articles. Now, this one here, we have Francisca, and obviously this is about San Francisco, so that's going to be in here. But I did see another Francisco up here. Right here is another Francisco. So, this is something that I always found to be very suspicious, right alongside all the fires and floods and everything. However, in the interest of integrity, I do want to point out something that I discovered as my oldest son was sending me some photos and links regarding our ancestry. He's been researching the ancestry of our history. And what I have discovered as searching through my ancestry in particular, because I didn't go through my husband's ancestry. My son was able to find more stuff on my side of the family, so I just went through that. What I discovered is that in the 17 and 1800s, because he was able to trace back to 1717 so far with my side, there was not this large list of names that were used in that time period for some reason. Not that the names didn't exist, just that it did seem to be very, very normal for the same names and the same sorts of names to be repeated, not even just in families, but just they were very common. I remember when I went to school, there were like 5 girls named Jennifer that I went to school with. And I noticed that that sort of thing was happening in my ancestry as well. For example, the name Johannes or some variation of Johannes, such as Johann, was repeated multiple times, not just in, say, for example, my mother's side of the family, but also in my father's side of the family. And of course, the two were not related to each other. I saw this with other names too, names such as Wilson. The name Wilson showed up on both sides of the family. Sometimes it was used as a first name, sometimes it was used as a middle name, and sometimes it was used as a last name. And, another example, I'm not going to get monotonous with this, but another example is the name Anna. Either the name Anna or the name Anne also repeatedly showed up in both sides of the family. So the reason that I decided to point this out is because I think that, if we want people to listen to us when we're trying to point out the inconsistencies in the historical narrative that we're fed. We also have to admit that sometimes there might be a reason for the what we're considering to be anomalies are. And so I'm seeing that in my own family history, at least when it comes to the case of having the same sorts of names repeated over and over again, even in families that are not related to one another. And so I'm not saying that that obviously I still think that there is a template that is used for a lot of these stories on Wikipedia, because you do see it being repeated a lot. But at least when it comes to the names, I think there is another explanation, is that especially if you look at this time period, 17 and 1800s, it does seem that this was just a common thing, that lots of people had the same name. Now, I have 100% European heritage, so I don't know if it's just, Europeans that do this. It could have been different in other places, but just not that I don't think that the floods were fishy and the fires were fishy and all of these stories that were constantly given. Yeah, I totally agree that we're not being told the truth on a lot of these Wikipedia pages. But at the same time, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if we want people to listen to us, we also have to, you know, admit when we found something that could be an alternative explanation. And in the question of the repeating names, I think that this is at least one possibility. That's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one down below. And if you like my work and would like to check out my channel membership, I will leave a link in the description for that as well. Or you can just click on it right on my channel page. And I hope you have a great day.